So we have Michael Chernus in the plane today, who's a stage, cinema, and television actor. And we're going to fly over New York City and talk about some of your work. How does that sound?
I'm excited.
This is 474 Echo Papa, Roger, runway 26, clear for takeoff. You can proceed on course.
Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today.
For our viewers at home who may not know this, we're actually sort of related.
That's right.
Connected through marriage. Our wives are distant cousins.
That's right. And your wife, Emily, created a non-profit entity called Space, which literally provides space for artists, actors, other folks who use it as a retreat to sort of recharge their batteries at an organic farm just outside of Danbury.
That's true. An organic farm that has been in both of our wives' families since the 1700s.
Now, you moved to New York City to attend the Juilliard Drama School. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, in 1995 I moved to New York. I was 18 and had just graduated high school. And really had no idea what I was getting myself into. But yeah, moved to the Upper West Side. I lived in the dorms at Lincoln Center for the first 2 years.
Now, one of the movies you recently acted in was Spider-Man Homecoming, which takes place in Manhattan. And you played the Tinkerer.
He's one of the original sort of Spider-Man villains. He's an OG Marvel villain. He and the Vulture, who is also in the movie, who Michael Keaton plays, were some of the first foes of our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. But back in the original comic books, he was much more of sort of an old man's scientist type. This version is much more of a sort of 2017 tech geek kind of guy. Someone who makes weapons and literally tinkers on things to create devices for the bad guys.
Now, how do you like being on stage as opposed to doing television and cinema?
As I've gotten older, the stage gets harder and harder. I did a play this summer, just for a few weeks in Poughkeepsie, New York. And just the wear and tear of doing 8 shows a week.
8 shows?
Yeah.
So it really takes a toll on your body?
Yeah, it in a way that it didn't when I was in my 20s.
And you were also in another production called The Aliens, which the New York Times, I believe, called the best off-Broadway play of the year.
Yeah, that play is a really special play written by a playwright named Annie Baker, and it was just one of those sort of magic productions that happens only a few times in a career, if at all, if you're lucky. It was just brilliantly directed by a director named Sam Gold, and myself and Dane DeHaan and Aaron Gann were the actors in it, and a really simple, beautiful play. It actually features a couple little songs that were written by me and my 2 best friends from Juilliard, Aaron Gann and Patch Dara. So these songs that we wrote when we were like 18, 19, 20 years old, Annie then took and put in this play years later.
So we are actually flying right over Ellis Island.
This is an incredible view.
Gorgeous.
Statue of Liberty in front of us. I have a scene in Men in Black 3 where Will Smith and I are on top of the Chrysler building. There are these sort of like griffin heads that stick out from one of the top floors, these sort of like Art Deco, almost eagle faces.
So there's a lot of container ships right below us.
There are.
Coming into the New York City harbor.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of the role you did as first mate to Tom Hanks and Captain Phillips. So what is it like to act next to Tom Hanks, one of the greatest actors of our generation? Were you nervous?
Oh, I was totally nervous at times. Just such an iconic person, an iconic figure. Literally, like, an iconic face. You know, you just look over at him and it's like, oh my God, that's Tom Hanks. At the same time, he's sort of everything you would want him to be. He's like, the stories about him being the nicest and most gracious guy in Hollywood are just true. He's the kindest man, and he made me feel totally at ease. We're passing over a bunch of container ships right now. A few of them look a lot like the ship that we shot on. And so every day we would take the ship out to sea. And so the working conditions were not glamorous. It didn't feel like a big Hollywood movie.
Right.
All of us, including Tom, were just stuck in these cramped quarters on this, merchant seaman ship. And so, you get to know each other really well when you're just passing time on a shipping vessel. And the thing was, Tom was such a great question asker. He would always be, just asking me a million questions, like, so where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
Just to get to know you.
Get to know me, and he'd be like, I'd be like, oh, I went to Juilliard, and he'd be like, oh my God, what was that like? And I'd sort of tell him, and he would be like, how many people audition a year? And I'd be like, a couple thousand. He'd be like, how many get in? I'd be like, like 20, 25. And he would literally be like, you beat the odds! Like, you're Tom Hanks, you won back-to-back Oscars, you beat the odds. I got into college.
In old New York, if I can make it there, I'll make it anywhere.
Number 7, Uncle Pop, traffic 10 o'clock and 2, 1,400 southbound.
Looking for the traffic, 47 Echo Papa.
Brickyard 6059, time up 120.
I'm getting a little better at saying it quickly.
Yeah.
We gotta be quick with these New York guys, they're busy.
Yeah. One of my best friends, a guy I went to school with named Patch Dara, who's an actor, he played the air traffic controller in the Sully movie. It was this river, right?
Yeah, this was the river that Captain Sully landed on. Shortly after departure, birds flew into both of his engines, and it was incredible, the decision-making process that he went through just over several seconds, and made a decision to put her down in the Hudson, and everybody walked away.
Tower Executive 766.
What do you say we mimic that landing?
And what altitude?
Yeah, sure. I just don't want to get wet.
There for 776.
We can do that, right? I just don't want my phone to get wet.
It's tough because, once the wheels hit,
Yeah.
because we're a small plane, once the
Right.
wheels hit on the river, we'll probably flip.
Oh.
One advantage that Sully had was, he had retractable landing gear.
Uh-huh.
So he basically retracted the landing gear and he basically landed on the belly of the airplane. We don't have retractable gear, so we don't have that option.
Gotcha.
So you'll probably get wet.
Well then,
We'll just go back to Danbury then.
Great. Let's go back to Danbury.
So Michael, one of your many roles is you are one of the characters in Orange is the New Black. You play the brother of Piper Chapman. You're Cal Chapman.
That's right.
And I noticed that the prison that Orange is the New Black is actually based on in real life is just 5 miles north of Danbury Airport.
Maybe we should go visit.
And this kind of gives me an idea of flying over this penitentiary.
180 now.
If maybe in a future episode you can propose actually landing a small plane and breaking Piper out of prison.
That's such a great idea.
There's plenty of space to land on.
I hope the writing staff is watching this video right now. Yeah, of course. That's when the show jumped the shark. When Piper's brother landed on the roof of the prison in a Cessna in 474 Echo Papa.
Cessna 4 Echo Papa, that's approved as requested. Runway 26, you're number 2 behind them. Clear to land.
Clear to land, 474 Echo Papa.
Railway station, got a ticket for my destination. On a tour of one night stands, my suitcase and guitar in hand, and every
All right.
Like butter.
Thank you.
Papa left off, next taxiway available. Contact ground point 6.
Left on the taxi, ground point 6. Thank you, sir.